If you're grieving the loss of someone that you love and you're in tremendous pain, you don't know how you're gonna get through this. All you want is for things to go back to what it felt like at the beginning when you first met. In this video, I wanna talk about the benefits of a breakup, the fastest way to get over it, and of course, how to get your spark back. The first thing I wanna say is to celebrate. Breakups are portals to the next version of who we're meant to become. The grief you feel is evidence that there was real love. Heartbreak shows you that you were brave enough to love deeply. In this moment, it may feel like everything was a lie or that somebody died, but they chose on purpose to die. When we're going through this immense amount of pain, it can feel wrong, but it's not. It's exactly what you need to catalyze you into your highest self. Let's get into the benefits. This was not a loss. At the beginning of a breakup, it is so common to just want to get back with that person. And if they truly are your person, if you're meant to be, you will reconnect. They will come back. Maybe it takes 6 months, maybe it takes a year, maybe it takes 5 years. But one thing is for sure, they will not come back until you fully learn the lessons that you needed to through this breakup. They were in your life for a purpose. You attracted them. You allowed them to be in your life. The ways in which they never treated you right is showing you what standards you need to raise. You cannot miss what is meant for you. You won't have to convince something that is supposed to be in your life to stay. You get to be chosen. You get to be committed to. You get to have the love that you know you deserve. This is an opportunity not to find someone new, but to become someone new. Someone who would never settle for half love. But if you don't face how you were complicit in this dynamic, it will be impossible to find the love that is meant to stay. You'll keep attracting the same person in a different font. It's important to recognize and change the patterns and loops that you're stuck in. Try to do this without judgment. Think of yourself as a scientist, just data collection. For instance, I realized in my last relationship that I was choosing people who had really good intentions and who genuinely love me, but when it came down to it, they did not have the capacity to give me the love that I deserved. The last man that I dated was really a wonderful and beautiful person who I really respected a lot. And it was difficult because I wanted to villainize him. It's easier to get over someone if they treated you really horrible and they were really lame. At their core, they're an asshole. But this was not the case for me. If you're someone who is in a position more like me where the person is actually great, but for the variety of reasons it didn't work out, then look for the subtle dynamics that may have been playing out, usually stemming from your relationship with your parents in some way. Are you accepting less than you deserve? Maybe you used to feel like you deserve crumbs, but you grew. Now you know that you deserve a whole loaf, but then you got the whole loaf and you now realize, wait, I actually deserve the whole bakery. I actually deserve a whole chain of bakeries. That's what I really want deep down. This loaf is still not enough. But because when I was a child, I was used to getting nothing, just scraps, it felt like more than enough, but it's actually not more than enough. Were you truly a priority in this person's life, or did they give you what was left over after they had given everything to their work? Why were you so okay with that? Why were you so okay with receiving less? It's okay to say they didn't treat me the way that I deserve. That may be the case, but it is your responsibility to become the kind of person who would never be okay with receiving less, who has so much self-worth and so much self-love and such a full life that any person who comes into your life has to be able to fully commit to you, to fully prioritize you, to fully love you in the way that you've always wanted to be loved. Fully feel your feelings of anger and hatred, but don't conflate your feelings with facts. Right now, you can only take responsibility for you, for your actions, for your behaviors, for your mindsets. The best revenge is building a life where you're happy without them. Maybe you're thinking, okay, great, that sounds amazing, but I still feel horrible. So how do I get over this? Well, you want to be like a buffalo. Buffalo can anticipate when a storm is coming. And when they sense that the storm is approaching, they go toward the storm because they know if they go toward it, they're going to be in it for the least amount of time. If they run away from it, the storm is going to chase them and they're just going to continually be in the rain. We want to be like that when it comes to emotional pain. You don't want to avoid it. You want to go straight through it. You want to feel it at its fullness. You want to fully process it. And this can feel so difficult when you're experiencing a lot of overwhelming painful emotions. But instead of suppressing it, you want to be able to fully feel it and then know how to re-regulate your body to come back to a state of calm. And if you need help with that, I do have a free masterclass on how to regulate your nervous system. That's in the description. It can feel counterintuitive, but if you genuinely loved someone, you have to purge them out of your body. Cry your eyes out, scream, punch a pillow, do some intense exercise, go on walks, talk to your friends, talk to ChatGPT, do whatever you need to do to get it out, and don't judge how long it takes. The deeper and the more sincere you love, the more intense the pain will be. To be a lover girl means that you're a grief girl. Loss is the price that you pay for love, but it's always worth it. Also, as a side note, if you're experiencing heartbreak with someone you were never officially with, that is totally okay. We have all these labels, but you can't put a label on your heart. Whatever you felt is valid. Your pain doesn't have to be qualified by a label. I remember getting so frustrated because even though I cognitively knew that getting back with this person wasn't something that I wanted, and I just wanted to get over it so bad. I was so frustrated with feeling so horrible for so long. I just wanted it to end. And I kept having these goals for myself, like in 3 months, I'll feel better. In 6 months, I'll feel better. There's no way a year from now, I'm not going to feel better. But grief doesn't come on a timeline. I personally had to realize that I wasn't just grieving the loss of this relationship. I was also grieving the love that I didn't receive as a child that led me to choose a relationship that couldn't fully meet my needs. I was grieving the loss of access to his family that unconditionally loved me in a way that I felt like my family never had the capacity to. I was grieving that my life wasn't where I wanted it to be. I was so deeply lonely and isolated, and I was grieving that everything I thought he was a complete fantasy, and I was so deeply disappointed that he wasn't the person that I thought he was, and he was never going to be. And also in that moment, I reminded myself that there is someone who is going to be who I thought that person was. He's not it, but someone else exists who is. And I must fully feel the disappointment of the fact that I discovered that he wasn't. We want to fully feel our feelings, but we also don't want to be stuck there forever. We do need relief from the grief. And at some point, we do have to start rebuilding our life step by step. Here are my top tips on how to do that. My number one tip is to get a hobby. The qualifications of a hobby are something that you cannot monetize, something that you genuinely enjoy and want to get better at, but don't feel like you need to get better at. Bonus points if it gets you out of the house and interacting with other humans. For me, that was ping pong. For the past year, every Saturday I've been going to a group ping pong class with an Olympic ping pong champion. Her name is Wei Wang. She is the go-to Hollywood advisor on all ping pong movies. She was the advisor on Marty Supreme. And I actually got to go to a private screening hosted by A24 at the Grove in Los Angeles with all of her other ping pong students. She appeared in a couple of scenes and her name was in the credits. It was so fun. It was so special, and I'll cherish that memory forever. It got me out of the house. It got me active. I was present while I was doing it. I was so honestly uncomfortable for like the first month and a half because I was really bad at it, but it taught me the lessons that I needed to learn. I have this theory that the hobbies that we're drawn to can also teach us something that we need to learn in a fun way. It taught me that it wasn't really about talent, but more about reps. It taught me about incremental growth. It taught me about getting better at something while having fun and not putting so much pressure on it, and to stay detached from the outcome, but just to keep showing up. So I would highly recommend getting a hobby. My second tip is a tried and true one, but it's to get hot. Honestly, get physically fit. There is a reason that after a breakup, so many people go through a glow up. For whatever reason, someone rejecting you is incredible motivation to get back in the gym. I think doing physical activity in general just makes you feel better. Start walking, do yoga, start lifting weights. Committing to your physical fitness is a commitment to yourself, and you don't have to be in your head about it. My third tip is to start a creative project. Remember that sexual energy is creative energy. When you're physically intimate with someone and then that stops, you have all of this creative energy with nowhere to go. The worst thing that you could do is to give it to someone else. The whole, in order to get over someone, get under someone new, does work, right? But it's so temporary and usually makes you feel worse afterwards. That creative energy with nowhere to go needs to go back to yourself. Put it into a project, start a business, start a YouTube channel, start posting online, do that thing that you've always wanted to do, but for whatever reason, haven't committed to it or put it on the back burner. This is one of the biggest benefits, is that you have more energy to create. You have all of this life force now. Put it to use. Take all of that creative energy you were giving to that person and redirect it toward yourself. And if you want someone to guide you through that process, you can apply to my one-on-one coaching or put your name on the waiting list for my membership. Both of those links are in the description. Don't forget that love is necessary for life, but you don't have to only get it through romantic love. Reconnect with family if you feel safe around your family, or reconnect with your friends. One of the sweetest gifts of heartbreak was the fact that I got to reconnect with one of my college roommates. I would go over to her place and we would just drink wine or talk or eat snacks and drink martinis and just literally spend time with each other. We would talk for 4 hours straight just about everything that we were going through and laughing and crying. And honestly, if I was in a relationship, I don't know if I would have had that time with her. And I think it's really precious because I know that this time is limited. At some point, I will get married. At some point, I will have kids, or maybe I'll move where she's not as accessible. So just really being present and understanding how special this time was, reprioritizing that friendship was so special, and I don't take it for granted. It's just a lesson that when one stream of love dries up, you can diversify your love streams, right? You can get it from animals, you can get it from family, from people, you can meet new people, you can reconnect with old friends. Just because you lost one love doesn't mean that the well of love is dry. I think that maybe the biggest benefit of being brokenhearted is feeling closer to God. Now, if God is a triggering word for you, just know when I say God, I mean the great mystery, the divine, the source, the space between all things, divine mother, heavenly father. It's not some weird prescriptive God, okay? There is this verse in the Bible that says that God is near to the brokenhearted, and I experienced that. In that time when I felt utterly broken, like my life had been burned down to nothing but ash, it required me to have faith. It required me to see that even though everything around me felt cruel and dark, I could choose to believe that somehow it was going to be used for good. I knew that this heartbreak was actually an answer to my prayer, my request to the divine. If I'm a vessel, if I'm a cup, and I can only hold 16 ounces of water, and water is the blessings. If I'm asking for more blessings, if I'm asking for a level up in my life, if I'm asking for more money, more opportunities, better friendships, more peace, more purpose, more vision, my cup is already full. Then how can I be given more? The cup has to break and reforged in the fire. Does that process feel good? No, you feel shattered. You feel like you're burning in the fire. You feel formless. You don't feel like a cup. You feel utterly useless. But that is the necessary process you have to go through. If you're asking for more, you have to expand to become the person who will be able to handle more. And sometimes the only way to do that, or the fastest way to do that, is to completely break and to be remade. And to me, that's divine power. That's not something that a human being could plan and execute, right? A human is never going to say, okay, and then I'm going to take everything in my life that I think is giving me purpose and hope and be done with that. No, we're not going to do that. We would never schedule grief. There is an intelligence that goes beyond what we think we need, and we can choose to trust that even in our brokenness, we're being made new. And lastly, I just want to share some affirmations or some self-talk that really helped me get through some of the darkest times. And I'm just going to read it off my phone because I think the specific language with some of these was helpful. I will let my heart break, and I will feel every moment of pain. But I won't let that pain turn into needless suffering. I will not mourn him like he was the one. I can only mourn that I found out he wasn't. I will discipline my disappointments and use whatever life has given me, including being broken. This is for my good, to launch me into my new era. I will listen to the lessons and apply them to my life moving forward. I will not shame myself for not knowing something earlier. I will allow the pain and know that it is a sign that there was love. This is not a loss. I'm making room for everything that is meant for me because I deserve to be cherished, committed to, obsessed with. I deserve someone who makes me feel like I am a priority easily. The man for me would never want to let another person have an opportunity to have me because I deserve to be the prize. I deserve to be thought of as rare and a one-of-a-kind find. I want to sever ties with anyone who isn't for me, and I don't want contact with someone who isn't meant for me. Who is meant for me will stay. I won't have to convince them. I am protected from being in the wrong relationship. Those are just some of the things that I said to myself that really reframed and redirected how I might be feeling in the moment. Feel free to use those or to create your own script that you read every day to remind you of your worth and to remind you of the love that you deserve. And just a reminder that you can take the focus off how long it's going to take because you don't know. Grief is a good sign. It's normal. It's evidence of love. Love and loss, they're connected. Love is what makes us human, and therefore loss is what makes us human. And I think that that's beautiful. So if you're heartbroken right now, take it day by day, hour by hour, moment by moment, and know that you haven't met everyone who is going to love you in this lifetime. That's all I have to say for today. I hope you have a good one, and I'll see you next time. Bye.